Hello everyone, welcome to your Quantitative Aptitude course for CAN 2025. Before we get into the details on how the course is structured and the things that we're going to teach in this course, let us just see what we at 99percentiler have to offer you. Unlike any other CAT institute, we don't offer courses over a span of say 3 to 5 months, wherein those institutes go in in-depth detail every single topic that is prescribed by the CAT syllabus. And what we here do is something unique. We just pick out topics which have the highest repeat factor and then focus on those particular topics which will ensure you to get your 99 percentile mark. Now, how do you get your 99 percentile mark? For that, I'm sure most of you are aware about the number of questions in the QA part. It is 22 questions as of past couple of years. Now it might change for the coming years, but as of now it is 22 questions. And out of these, the amount that you have to score to get your 99 percentile is, so this is according to the 2024 stats. But of course, the last year's paper has been considered to be the easiest among all. So it is not something which we can go off, but this is a standard, right? Around 30 marks. So around 30 marks, you should be safely be able to cross your 99 percentile mark. Now beyond that, or really left to you, right? So the amount of practice that you put in through the additional problems that we provide, we will be attaching problem sets along with our videos for every single topic, and the amount of marks you give is completely dependent on that, right? So if you, the more you give of those, the higher this goes. Now the simplest strategy that we at 99 percentile try to persuade students to pursue is so on. Now these 22 questions have to be solved in a time span of 40 minutes. Now we divide this 40 minutes into 20, where in the first 20 minutes you go through the entire paper, meaning as soon as you look at a particular question, we'll train you in such a way that you should be able to identify a question whether you have to attempt it or not. So there are certain questions which are extremely lengthy. Now be it that the question might be extremely easy, but that doesn't mean that you have to attempt those questions in that time span, right? Now there are certain topics which might be very comfortable for you, say triangles or quadratic equations, right? Now these are some things, some topics which are comfortable for anyone of a background, regardless of your background, right? So you might be inclined to solve those kind of questions, right? Regardless of the length of the question, which is not the correct strategy that we teach here at 99 percentile. What we aim for you to do is in this first 20 minutes, solve 8 to 10 questions with a very high accuracy, meaning a 90 to 100% accuracy. Now I agree that the accuracy might not be as high for most of us because we tend to make some silly mistakes. That is bound to happen, but through practice we can increase our accuracy to a higher level. Now in the later 20 minutes, now that you have gone through the entire paper, you will have a fair idea on what kind of questions are there in the paper and what kind of questions that you can attempt on a second go. So you'll go to those kind of questions and then solve at least 4 to 5. Now here the accuracy might not be as high because these might be considered tougher than the initial set. So an accuracy of 60 to 80 is what we strive for, right? Now combining these two, you should be easily over the 99 percentile mark with a score of 35 or more, right? So how do you decide whether you have to attempt this particular question or not? It's something that we'll go through in detail over the course of the program. Now, of course, some people are comfortable in certain topics and then some people aren't. Now, each and every question has the same weightage, right? So it makes no sense for you to attempt, say, a permutation combination problem, which is extremely hard, rather than a heights and distances problem, which is fairly straightforward. Like the most difficult problem that they can come up with is something like a ladder and inclination angle of 30 degrees, and the length of the ladder is given and the distance is asked. So these are the kind of questions that they can go beyond. They cannot go beyond these. Whereas in permutation combinations, and like calculus kind of questions, the sky is the limit, right, for the kind of questions that they can ask. So it is important for us to recognize that and select those questions which will help us get over this 99 percentile. Now that obviously depends on what kind of topics should we focus on. Now over the years, weightages have changed, but it has remained fairly the same with regards to certain topics. For say averages, last year had been given a higher weightage. Now for this, there is a topic called allegations. We use allegations and mixtures to simplify problems, right? An usual averages problem would take you about 2 minutes to solve, whereas if you use allegations, you can solve it within a span of 20 seconds. Like, it's a huge reduction. So it is important for us to learn these kind of techniques and then apply these as soon as you see a problem. Meaning, allegations questions is it might be difficult for you to associate a problem with this method as soon as you look at it. So practice is the only method in which you can be habituated to this formula, right? Now, again, allegations and mixtures can be used for profits and losses as well. Now, there had been a disparity with regards to time distance work. Now, these are considered lengthy for most of the students. Now, again, it might not be the case with you, but it is considered lengthy in general, as it might take an approx of 2 to 3 minutes or more to solve these questions, regardless of your background again. So this is something we suggest students to park and then look at other questions, right? Now, Venn diagrams. Venn diagrams is something we would have prepped you for in the LRDA series. So we would have gone through the 2 sets, 3 sets, and then even 4 set model. So you should be fairly comfortable with this topic. And then as soon as you look at the Venn diagram problem, you should be able to solve it within a span of 1 minute. If you're not, then it is a clear indication that you have to move on from the problem. The base rule is you should never cross 4 minutes for a particular problem. Now, I know, even I've been through this multiple times, wherein you get stuck on a problem and then you feel like you're getting closer to the answer, but 4 minutes is a hard stop. So regardless of whether you've put in 4 minutes or 30 seconds, you get the same marks, right? And then again, as I mentioned, if you're solving a PNC problem or a trigonometry problem, you get the same marks. So you should always be objective in your thinking, and then see with regards to a time crunch. Basically, CAT is not a test of your uh, intelligence. It's a test of your strategy on how you're going to plan your time out, and then how you're going to manage this time to solve the highest number of problems with the highest accuracy. So speed versus accuracy is what is being checked in CAT. So yeah, again, as I said, we're going to park time, distance, and work. We're going to completely omit or park probability and combinatoric forms. Again, this doesn't mean that you never attempt those questions. There might be some fairly straightforward single liner questions, and the options also might be fairly straightforward. So it is worthwhile to attempt these questions and then see if you're able to solve within the time span as I have mentioned before. If you're not, then again, moving on is the best possible way. Logarithm, surge, indices is something which engineers are comfortable with, but non-engineers might not be comfortable with. So we will be teaching basics in this, which some people can omit. Again, this is a self-paced course, and then wherein you can choose the topics which you want to have a look at or which you don't want to. So this is completely up to you. Or you can go through we'll obviously be covering every single topic in this, but again, what we are doing, which is completely different than other institutes, is this: we provide only 10 to 15-minute videos. So unlike other institutions which provide, say, 1 to 2 hour videos, right? They cover from the scratch, which is something we feel, we at 99% feel is not as important as they make it to be. So in this 10 to 15 minutes, what we do is, in the first 5 minutes, we cover the topic, the methods that are used to solve these kind of questions, and the different type of problems that might come from these types, right? And the remaining 10 minutes, we solve problems on these. Now, these problems should cover all the types, and the problems also have previous CAT questions, so you get a fair amount of idea on how the problems are framed in the CAT examination, right, on that particular topic. Now, again, functions and graphs, people tend to get scared, wherein problems are framed such as f of x is equals to, say, f of 3x plus 1 divided by 3x minus 1 plus f of 4x plus 3, or something like this, right? And then they might ask certain values of 3 or some value like this. So we will get scared looking at the bulkness of the problem, but yeah, for lack of a better word, this is something which can be solved pretty easily. We will be going through the technique on which you should approach these kind of questions. And again, graphs is, I think most of the students are comfortable with graphs, wherein you would have to, they'll be given certain linear equations with the most probably involvement of mods. Without mods, it's very rare for CAT to give questions on graphs. So wherein all you have to do is draw the graph. As soon as you draw the graph, your answer should be right in front of you, right? So drawing this graph base is what we're going to focus more on in the graphs part. Again, geometry, it's very vast topic. It's a very vast topic. So there are only three things that are important for us: circles, quadrilaterals, and triangles. In circles, it is always associated with tangents, wherein you would have to find out your length of tangents, angle of tangents, angle between two sides. And then in quadrilaterals, again, diagonals is something which is very important. Be it number of diagonals or the angle between two diagonals, with regards to again length and angles. Triangles, they might go a bit far and then go on to ask a combination of circles and triangles, or semicircles and triangles, wherein the angle is 90 degrees, wherein you would have to find out in radius, circumradius, and the areas of the triangle using the sides alone or the radius alone, in radius alone. We'll have certain formulas for that, but that is something that we need not worry about right now. And these are some things which you can cover towards the later end of the part. There are certain topics which we suggest you have your most focus on, and those are pretty straightforward: progressions and series, and quadrilateral polynomial equations, right? Quadratic equations is considered one of the easiest topics, so we always suggest and we always provide as much material as possible with regards to those topics, for that you don't waste much of your time on other problems, and then you should be able to get through these problems fairly quickly. Again, in progressions and series, I think people of all backgrounds should be familiar with AP, GP, and HP problems. HP problems are rare, but AP, GP are a sure shot, so you should be able to get them fairly quickly. Number system is something which people might attempt or could attempt in the later 20 minutes, as I mentioned, not in the first 20 minutes, because problems tend to come off the types of reminders, last digits, last two digits, those kind of questions. Of numbers such as 2 power 89 divided by 7 or 3, or 7 power 86 or minus 4 divided by 5. So these kind of questions are fairly common, but not of a higher value. So over the years, the number of questions in each topic has remained the same. So we suggest that the basic strategy behind all of this is simple. As I mentioned, 20-minute breaks. In the first 20 minutes, you should be able to score through the entire 22 questions, and then see and then pick out 8 to 10 questions which are easy, which will definitely be there regardless of how tough or easy the paper is. There are for sure to 10 questions which are attemptable by anyone or everyone, and these are some things which we shouldn't miss out on. And in the remaining 20 minutes, it purely depends on your ability to remain calm and then solve the questions which you have seen in the past 22, and then try and solve at least 4 or 5 in those. And then with this strategy, you should be easily able to get through your 99 percentile mark. Yeah, this is broadly what we do at 99 percentile. With regards to QA, again, we'll be making separate videos for LRDI and VARC. One last thing, welcome to the course, and then hope to see you in the further videos. Thank you.